Hi! What are you doing? You regretting your life choices? Hi, I'm Wolf, and I'm a fiber artist. So I would assume it doesn't come as a surprise that I have a fiber stash. Now, don't freak out on me. This is not one of those I'm going on a no-buy videos or behold how much crap I have. I don't know. I have a stash. I love my stash. But as I start considering myself more of a fiber artist and as I expand my skills, especially as I'm working on YouTube videos, I have to plan ahead and think about what all I have and where it's all going. And I have commercially prepared yarn, I have fiber for spinning, and looking at my plans, I think I'm going to be spinning a lot more soon, which means I'll build up a hand-spun stash as well. It's becoming difficult to manage and keep track of what all I have just in the little cabbage over here. Now, this is also not one of those beautiful videos where I organize things and then it looks very aesthetic. I've been unable to do any woodworking for a while, so my efforts to build storage in this room, especially in this space that you usually see in my videos, has been delayed by a very long time. I still hope to get there at some point. All that said, I'm hoping this is still going to be interesting and maybe helpful as I try to figure out how to catalog everything I have just for my own personal tracking purposes. So, let's start. It's difficult to figure out where I should position you to see this. Hopefully you have fun in that spot, even though it's completely in the way of where I'm getting most of the yarn from. I figured cones is as good a start as any. This is not all the holes I have. I actually have more than I thought. Okay, let's, this is huge. I'm gonna, do these even fit? Hold on, if I put them here. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. I have 2 more, I think. Plus some leftovers for this one and this one. Plus I have shade cards for Holzgar and Super Soft. When I say Holst in any of my videos, just assume it's Super Soft. I only really have their Super Soft. I'm very curious in the coastline, but I've just never bought any. Now, can I knit all of this in my lifetime? Probably, but that isn't the point. The thing that gets me about Holst is that if I have an idea in my head for a sweater, this gives me the freedom to execute it. And just having different colors in my stash is also part of the process for me. I just kind of look at them and that's where a lot of ideas come from. Even if some of this never gets used, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think these 5 I've used only tiny amounts for, just for embroidery and things like that. These ones I have knit garments from, so these 2 I've knit a sweater from. I used them both together. I've knit a full sweater with this, and this one, I talk about everything I've made from this one in my, would this be 2 videos ago? I did a video about knitting a sweater, mixing this with a skein of handspun. So that's where you can hear all about this one. To catalog all of these is going to be a challenge because I don't necessarily know what quantities they have, because I can weigh them, but the inner core has a weight too. So an empty cone, the core of it, weighs 35 to 40 grams. So I'm going to assume it's around 40 grams. So now I'm going to take a picture of each of these and weigh it and create entries in an Obsidian database. I use Obsidian for all of my notes. I wouldn't say it's user-friendly. I think you need to be comfortable about doing a lot of things yourself or finding plugins and doing all of that. So I struggle recommending it for just, you know, a general user. But if you're brave, or if you're into software, or if you're into tinkering with things, I think it's great. But yeah, it's just what I use. This is gonna take a while. I forgot how bad data entry is. Yeah, my head is just filled with things I want to make with them. So Holst isn't the only cones I have. I have these 2 cones of linen. The problem is I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I thought it was going to be fingering weight, and I tried swatching on, I think, US 0, and it was a complete fishing net. You could see right through it. I tried washing the swatch and all of that. It didn't really bloom enough. Also, when I was buying this, I was like, oh, pretty color. And then I'm going to look naked wearing this, okay? So at this point, I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'll get into weaving at some point. I don't know. But I have 2 cones of Lotus Yarns linen. Into the catalog it goes. So before I go off and start showing you all of my other yarn, I wanted to give you some context what it is that I mean when I say I'm making a catalog. So on the right side here is a table view of the catalog that I've started. The file name is a link to the file for that yarn. For example, if you click this, this is the file that opens. So you have a name for it, which usually I just put the name of the manufacturer and some kind of word from the name of the yarn or the colorway. There's a link to an image. So if you click that, this is the image, the same as you see here. For type, I only have yarn and fiber at the moment, I believe. Fiber meaning it's for hand spinning. I have brand, I have fiber content. There's also date acquired. I haven't set this for many just because it's been a while ago and I just cannot be bothered to figure it out. Sources where I bought it, and this one I bought it directly from Holst. Prices, again, I could track it down, I just don't care enough. I have colorway, I have the dye lot. For structure, I'm thinking for yarns, I'm gonna have things like what weight it is. So this one is fingering. And also like, for example, how it's formed. So in this case, it's 2-ply, but you could have things like chainette. For fiber, those are going to be rolags or comb top or roving, that kind of thing. Amount acquired is how much I bought, and amount remaining is however much I still have left that's available to be used. So plans is where I would put links to notes about future ideas that are forming and about to be planned, in case I need to account for various projects using the same yarn. The projects field is a list of links to my project notes. So for example, the only notes I have for this yarn is the Tundra Prairie handspun sweater that I made a video for just a little bit ago. And for tags, I'm just adding like big categories. So for example, coned yarn, I like marking it as a cone. Sock yarn, I like marking it as a sock yarn. I also like marking undyed fibers as undyed just so that I can search for them very easily. So overall, like, it looks like a lot, but end of day, it's fairly simple. I'll see how well this serves me. If I find new fields I need eventually, I can just add them very easily. Obsidian is basically just a graphics user interface for markdown files. So it's very easy to change things and add things. Also, they're very open to having the community write plugins for it and extend the app as much as you want. So there's all kinds of tools that you can use even if you're not into programming and tinkering with Markdown yourself. So yeah, I don't know, if you're interested, try it out. It's free. It can be a bit of a learning curve. If you do want to sync your data between devices, they do offer a paid tier. I don't think they've ever even advertised it when I was originally using it. I had to go out of my way and find that that was something they offered, which is also really nice. They're never in your face like, hey, buy our stuff. You can use this for free, all of the features, all of the plugins, everything, except for Cloud Sync, which makes sense because servers for that cost money. So all that said, let's get back to looking at my stash. The cats have been fed, coffee has been acquired, and all is well with the world. Man, I wish. I'm so distracted. I want a sweater out of this so bad. I want to be enveloped in this color. This is dark apple. I need to get moving because I do need to get this done today. Okay, what next? I think let's go through my sock yarn hoard. I knit a lot of socks. I'm really glad to pull all of these out because I completely forgot I had a lot of these. So the first ones I forgot I had were all of these hikukobasis. I don't know how you pronounce them. It's whatever. This color was for someone else and I never ended up making socks for them because I ended up not liking the socks I knit for myself using this yarn. That was one of the first few pairs of socks I ever knit for myself. So there's a chance that maybe I'd be okay with it now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out. I also forgot I had this Regia Premium Bamboo. It's only 30% viscose, which I assume is the bamboo content, at 45% is wool. Yeah, I guess I can make myself some summer socks. It's a good yarn. I like it. Definitely a summer sock yarn if you're knitting socks. I don't think it's warm enough for winter. If it gets cold in winter where you are. Now I have 2 watercolor sock skeins from Lanes du Nord. They are gorgeous. They have like a very nice gradient across the sock. I knit a pair for myself, absolutely loved them, bought 2 more, and before these even arrived, that first pair felted. I wash all of my hand knit socks in the washer and dryer. I'm sorry, I just don't care enough. I knit so many socks, it doesn't matter. And usually they're fine. It's very rare that something like that happens. So I'm a bit worried about this yarn. Maybe it's just, you know, a thing of this brand. Maybe something happened in the wash. Maybe the settings were different. I don't know. I'm a cat now. I like the colors, but I'm a bit nervous, so it's kind of at the end of the queue of everything, realistically. Oh yeah, missing one skein. Hold on. And the reason I knew I was missing one, because I knew I had these 2 colors in Regia Silk 4-ply. It's only 20% silk, it's still 55% wool. These come from a period where I was like, ooh, fancy sock yarn, maybe it's good. I have since decided I don't really like fancy sock yarn. Whenever I've paid a premium price, I ended up not really liking the finished product as much. Especially when it comes to silk. They just don't wear the same way for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird and fussy. So I don't quite know what I'm gonna do with these. I know I used one of them, probably this one, for contrast, heels and toes and cuffs. So yeah, maybe I'll continue using them for contrast. I don't know, my opinion is fancy is not worth it. This is Barocco socks. I've never used Barocco socks before, so this is still an experiment. This is Elb socks. I had a similar colorway, it was just brown instead of gray. I knit a pair of socks, I love them, wear them all the time. This is Wasco Sock Zigzag from Araucania. I bought this on a whim because I knit so many socks, I really crave variety. This just felt like so out there from any kind of sock I've ever knit. So I just have this for when like nothing speaks to me and I just want a pair of socks. Oh, and this one, so I've already used some of this. I bought it for embroidering the coat on a sheep felt creature I was making for a friend of mine. It feels kind of thick for fingering weight for me, so it would probably make really thick socks. I'm still counting it as like a full skein because I can still make socks out of it. This is just straight up leftovers. I'm gonna have to deal with that later. The rest of these are Regias. Regia is my absolute favorite sock yarn. And if you're in the US, you're like, oh no, that's so expensive. Almost all of my sock yarns, except for maybe this, I have bought from Little Knits. They have sock yarn sales fairly regularly. Again, not sponsored, but if you're looking for a good place in the US to buy good sock yarn for much cheaper than retail price, Little Knits is the way to go. I think I had only one situation where the yarn looked different than what was described. And honestly, if I contacted them, they probably would have tried fixing it. I didn't because I liked it anyway. Something to understand is that Little Knits, a lot of the time, they take overstock or mislabels or, you know, all kinds of random rejects of capitalism like that. Sometimes it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I've had really good experiences. I'm tossing this one around. I don't know how much is left. I bought it to knit entire socks from this, but I kept using it for contrast, cuffs, heels, and toes. So I don't even know if there's enough left for a full pair, but I need to figure that out. If it is, then it's gonna go with everything else. If there isn't, it's gonna go in my remnants. Oh no, I lied. This is Lang Yarn's Super Socks. This is their Greek Myths line. I have another pair from their Greek Myths line that I already knit up like forever ago. I love those socks. They're one of my favorites, probably of all time. This is for whenever I'm ready to do that again. So now looking at this, I'm like a little bit sad because I'm realizing I don't have as much Regia as I thought, but I still think I'm set on sock yarn. I don't really know like how much sock yarn I get through in a year. I'm very inconsistent. Sometimes I'll knit multiple pairs of socks a month. Sometimes I'll knit a pair of socks in like 2 months. It's very difficult to predict, which is why I like having a variety in my stash to just, you know, this one speaks to me now and just grab it and go and knit. I'm having a thought actually. So how about yarns I'm not super fond of? I don't catalog. I put them in a bag and then revisit maybe in a week or two. And if I'm still not in love with them and don't have a clear idea what I'm going to do with them, I just might just stash them. Into the bag you go. I think this is going to be my bag of potentially destashing. The good news is I'm done cataloging my sock yarn. The bad news is I ran out of coffee. So you may be wondering, why not do this on Ravelry? It's already a database, it's out there, it's free. And here's my take. Nothing against Ravelry. I am very burnt out from relying on third parties for every single basic thing in my life. I don't want to go into great detail about all kinds of things and just software in general being in a depressing state at the moment. And only getting worse very rapidly. So yeah, between just kind of wanting to have digital independence for my own data, and also I like knowing how things work and learning and establishing my own processes on my own, I decided to make my own catalog that lives on my computer, that is backed up to a different computer. I think that's good enough for me for now, and if I need something else, I'll figure it out then. Also, I said good news because I'm done with my sock yarn. It's actually even better good news. In terms of yarn, this is most of my yarn. I have a few stragglers, but this is the majority, I believe, unless there's stuff I forgot about, which honestly, part of why I'm cataloging things, because the cabbage can't juggle everything. You need to give it a break sometimes. Let's see what else we can find. Haha. I bought this at least a year ago. I was gonna make a vest with it. It's 100% organic fin wool. It doesn't have grams on it, but it says 225 yard donut. So I have 450 yards total. And this looks like DK. I don't work in yards. I don't know what that means. This isn't dyed. This is natural, locally grown, locally processed. Also women farmed, shorn, and processed. I went spelunking for ideas. Ooh, there's vegetables in here. I went spelunking for ideas on designing this vest. Nothing ever spoke to me, so I think I need to put this somewhere where I see this more often, so it's more in the front of the cabbage. And then I need to knit with it because it's wonderful and I'm very excited about it. This is where actually, so a lot of people say they lose their mojo when they start YouTubing and like don't monetize your hobby and all of that. All of that is totally valid, right? We're all different. We all function in different ways. When I started thinking about making videos, everything just kind of fell into place for me. I just get excited about things and put them on a calendar. And I genuinely believe that the projects I've been making, they wouldn't have been nearly as cool and creative if I hadn't been making videos out of them. There's just something about the process of, hey, I'm excited about this, I'm filming this, I'm gonna show this to people, that makes me really push myself creatively. And I find that extremely exciting. Sorry, just random YouTuber rant. I don't know if anybody cares about it, but I do, because I think a lot about making these videos and what I'm going to talk about. I don't know, it means a lot to me, having you there watching me take art seriously. I don't know, it really helps, so thank you. This is Cascade Yarns Heritage Wave. I fell in love with the color. Look at it. I bought 3 skeins. I don't know why I bought 3 skeins. I feel like that's way too much. I bought this cone specifically to work with that yarn. The original idea was color work, and that's why I went for a pretty high contrast. I swatched and just nothing felt right for me. My current thought is that maybe I would prefer lower contrast. How are we thinking about this? This is whole super soft coffee colorway. I don't know. I need to swatch. I need to swatch and see. I forgot about these. It's just not the sort of colors I would wear. The fiber content of these is really interesting. It's 50% alpaca, 25 linen, 25 tencel. All cool, probably great yarn. I don't think I'm gonna use it. It goes into the bag. I have a feeling this may have come to me when I wasn't really able to afford nice yarns. I'm kind of hoping to pass it on to somebody who may be in a similar situation. This is Audine Wool's by Knit Crate. I believe it might have come from the same destash? I don't think I'm going to use this. I'm filling this up. Didn't expect that. I got this very recently. I got it at Crafty Jack's boutique at Fibers West. It stole my entire heart. This is Divine Lace. Look how, look how gorgeous this is. This skein brings me so much joy. So you've already seen this in another video. This is my first ever handspun yarn. This is hopefully going to get used for something. I just don't know what that something is going to be. So as I was preparing for this video, I was looking for my fiber scraps or remnants. This is going to go in the remnants pile. And I found this bag that I completely forgot about. And this is why I need things cataloged, because it's so easy to lose track of things. Here's some sock remnants. Here's a sock remnant bag. Here's a random yarns remnant bag. And here is a ton more sock remnants. It's just infinite sock remnants. There you go. There's more stuff in here. We're going to get into that later. Now, don't worry. I have so many ideas of what to do with sock remnants. So I'm not going to catalog any of this. This is just, you know, pile of leftovers. So these ones are obviously going to be a bit harder to use because they're all different weights, different fibers, completely random colors, awkward amounts. Now, something I do want to start ASAP is a bag for my handspun leftovers. This was my second ever spin. I talk a bit more about that in my Let's Knit with Handspun video, where I knit a sweater with this Holst and my handspun. All of the tiny little leftovers of my handspun from that video are still in the bag with my bobbins. So it is time to free them all. Oh no, I forgot about the bag again. These are my bag shaft samples. But as you can see, I'm learning. I have labels on my handspun skeins now. So I am going to catalog this. I don't know if I will ever use these for anything, but I do want them in my catalog. In they go. Here is, I think, the only yarn I have ever purchased and genuinely 100% despised. Mistake number one, I accidentally bought this as sock yarn, but it's 1-ply though, and it's not even that tightly spun. That was probably my mistake. I had a different colorway I knit socks from, and that's where the other strike happened. It was so itchy. I could not stand it. There is a bunch of Knit Picks palette. Do I want to keep this? Have some in this color. Not super fond of the color. I can't imagine wearing this. It's perfectly good yarn. I'm just a lot more excited about this brown, for example, or the Holst. I think a lot of these, I wasn't really in a position to afford a lot of natural fibers and yarn in general. I ended up acquiring these as like parts of larger destashes for probably just price of shipping most of the time, maybe even for free, I don't remember. I'm extremely grateful for that. I knit a lot of the yarn I received that way, but some of it remained when my situation changed, so ugh, I'm losing my voice. I've been talking for hours. I think somebody else would enjoy this more than me. I'm just not gonna wear this, so what's the point, right? This is Knit Pick Stroll Fingering, gumball hand painted. I think I'm going to catalog this and put this in my sock stash. This is the last entry from the bag. It's pretty, but I don't think I would wear it. And if it was a sock yarn, if it had like nylon or something in it, I would love this. This is going to the potentially destash pile. I remembered why this wasn't part of my sock yarn stash. I have knit with Knit Pick Stroll before, and I knit a pair of fingerless gloves. The yarn was just pilling so much that just by the time I finished the fingering gloves, they already looked like they've been worn for 20 years. And that really put me off the yarn. Yeah, so these are just gonna be socks for the fun of knitting the socks, and however much wearing I get out of them, it'll have to be good enough. I think this is it. Now that we are done with yarn, here is hopefully my next few bigger projects. I'm hoping to get to some of this, if not all of this, before October. This is Corriedale from Mad Hatter Fibers. Here's 8 ounces from 4 Rivers Yarn and Fiber. Here is 80% Polwarth, 20% silk from Fiber Play. I don't really have plans for these yet. I don't really have ideas for these yet. These are taking priority. Just look at these 50 grams of just pure peachy cloud. It's blended top of undyed fibers. It's 75% white superfine merino, 13% red airy silk, and 13% brown Manx lafton. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna wear it like this. It's so fantastic. This one got me by its colors. It's 100% Gotland. Do you see this magic? Here's another one that completely got me by its color and not its fiber. I saw it and I was, you know, I need it. Here's some more gorgeous fiber. So this is Simply Fiber by Nicole, and this is How Nui. Look at this. So this is the part where I admit I may have gone a little bit overboard. It all started with a local spin-in event. I decided I want to do a fiber study. I just wanted to support the people there, you know. I had a good time talking to them. Here you go and explore. You really like that one, yeah. It's called Gravity. I think you summoned the other munchkin. So yeah, it was a local spin-in event. There were a few vendors. They were all wonderful. And I just, on a whim, grabbed a few things. I don't know when I'm going to get to them because I feel like they're a little bit of a challenge. But that's where the idea of doing fiber studies came from. Now, if you've seen my previous video where I do a fiber study of Bagshaft, I came from this fiber sampler pack that I got from Crafty Jacks at Fibers West. Now, I have a friend in Canada who thought she was going to be into spinning, but I don't think she is anymore. She had a lot of samples. So now I have them, and I'm very excited about them. Hi! What are you doing? You regretting your life choices? Maybe an hour into filming this video, this came. I bought 10 samples from Northwest Yarns. Do you see this? Look at it. Look at all these wonderful samples. They look so woolly. Yeah, do you want to see? Yeah? It's gonna take a fairly long time to catalog all of these, I think. And then I'll be back and then we're gonna wrap this up. So now that my catalog is done, I would like to just show you how this works and why this is worth doing. This is what Obsidian calls a base. You can view it many different ways. So for example, this is a table view of all of the entries in my fiber stash. You can see right now I have the file name, which includes a link to the file, the type, fiber content, structure, and file tags, and the image. It's very easy to control what is shown here. You simply click properties and just select what you want showing. For example, let's say I want brand also showing up here, so I clicked brand, and now I can have brand also appear in my table. And if I want it to go away, I just uncheck it and boom, it's gone. Another view that's available is cards. I find this very useful. You can just see all of the images from all of your entries at a glance. Another really cool thing is you can add views very quickly. So for example, I want to create a cards layout and I want to give it large cards. Image property is, I think it's this one. Yeah, there you go. You can change your image aspect ratio if you want. Right now, this is almost the same as our other cards view, except that it's, you know, sized a little bit differently. But this is where you can do really cool things. So you can go to filter, and let's say I'm only looking for undyed. So let's go find file tags, contains, type in, and there you go. Now I have all of my undyed fiber filtered, and I can have just like an overview of what all I have very easily. And then if you don't like that, you can just remove it. You can add multiple things. So let's say I can do type is yarn. I can add a filter that says, let's say file tags contains hand dyed. Boom. These are my hand dyed yarns that I have in my stash. I think this is really cool, and you can set up however many of these views as you want. And if there's like specific things you're searching for very often, you can just set those up and you can just have them. So yeah, that's a quick tour of what's going on with my catalog, and I'm very excited to use it. If you have a digital catalog of your stash, I'd love it if you shared in the comments down below of how you organize it and what you find useful or not useful about it. And we're done. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was fun going on a tour of fiber I have. I hope you're excited to see a lot of this be used up in the coming videos. I hope you enjoy the tidbits about how I'm organizing my stash and the database I'm creating. Whether you use that method or not, I hope it inspires you to have some kind of process for yourself as well. And I'm excited at all the creative ideas that are going to come out of this, just because I'm going to have such ready access to see everything I have just there on my fingertips. So if you stuck this long, maybe consider subscribing, giving me a like or a comment. Any of the three really helps. Whatever you feel like giving me. I am a very small channel. I'm going to put my current subscriber count at the time of posting in the description. I'm going to do a quick rundown of what's not included here. I didn't include anything that I'm not cataloging in my stash, so projects currently on the needles aren't being cataloged as yarn just because I don't want to. Any remnants of yarn aren't being cataloged. Anything I'm considering destashing isn't being cataloged. Also, another thing I'm not cataloging is I have a ton of crochet thread. I used to use it a lot, but recently I've only really used it as waste yarn to tie things down. So I don't particularly care about it, and it would just be a lot of work for what I feel like nothing. So it's just something to think about. The way I see it, this is my active stash. And I hope this makes you excited for future videos where I'm actually using all of this stuff and making something out of it. So, bye-bye. See you then.